Hello there. Once again, this is Anton from Anton All Day. Thank you for taking a few minutes to stop by the collection room. Today I am looking at some more comics, and I've been looking at a lot less comics or a lot less action figures and a lot more comics. And this week, or today, I am looking at Nexus. Nexus is a title. Is typically, you think of Nexus, you think of them being by First Comics. These are Capital. So these are the early ones. This is 1 through 5. Same outrageous, fantastic art and incredible space zaniness that comes along with Nexus. The hammer strikes. And I absolutely adore the art from Nexus. It is probably one of my more favorite of all comic book arts, just because your subject matter is so quirky and weird and sci-fi inspired. It is a thing of wonder to behold. And this particular book hails from 1983. This is 2 years after I was born. This is an old book, but just the first page, you could get an idea of what you're looking at. You got floating heads on things, aliens, spacemen. This is like what comics are for. Now the colors in all of these has been just amazing that I've ever seen. And I love the way the art is done. I don't know if it's just the way that it's colored, or if it's the sci-fi backgrounds and lighting of everything. But there's just something beautiful and amazing about how Nexus books always look. I mean, look at this scene. Lothar, Dyphona, I'm cashing in your chips. It's everything about it is just weird. It's got a great sci-fi vibe to it that I absolutely love. Colors are beautiful. Shading is done amazingly. It's probably one of the more visually stimulating, interesting books to look at. I have always thought so. I have always enjoyed it. It has some of my favorite quirky covers. And you know, when I used to have, as I've said many times, I used to have hundreds, well, about 150 long boxes of comics. I had a lot of comics, and I have sold most of them through the last year, and I'm down to about 6 long boxes, I guess. And this is some of them that got saved, because this was just a fantastic series. And it's a pretty good running series, and I think I got like 1 through 60, including when it switches over to being published by somebody else. I think it was First Comics. I don't think it was Eclipse. I believe it was First. But I always get confused by those two. Badger, Nexus. All right, who authorized a fan club? That's just quirky goodness. There's a lot of Space Ghost vibe to this guy sometimes. Letter page. Issue number 2. Now, always got to consider the price. $1.50 for an issue in 1983. Pretty stout price, but I've seen worse. And for what you were getting and the oddness of your book and your beautiful work that people put on this thing, I just felt like, yeah, that's got to be worth it, even back then. And these are, like I said, these are all by Capital Comics, and I think by I know before issue 10, it seems like they're running from First Publishing, so. There was a way in the 80s that they used these like odd colors, like pink, orange, soft green lighting backgrounds that kind of let you know it was a sci-fi book, and you know that it was a very sci-fi, very spacey. And this utilizes all of those, but then adds these colors in on all your characters as well. That I think looks fantastic. There's also a fair amount of humor and quirky weirdness in this. Some of the panels are a little bit uniform, but you do experiment with some different shapes, which I appreciate. I don't see a lot of people popping in and out of panels, so it does pretty much keep everybody boxed in, which is, you know, not my favorite thing. I'm gonna have to pull it open because we got another just brilliant, cool spread cover there. And I should handle those better. So I'm flopping them all over the place. Ooh, it does look like we have spiked in price and we're now at $1.75, which, are we still 83? Yep, we're still 83. That's expensive. That's expensive for 83. That's some great hair going on right there. In case you're having trouble seeing that, I'll point that out because that's weird. Trying to decide, like, this doesn't, I mean, you can tell just opening this up and looking at, you could just look at one panel, one page, and you can think, this is not a Marvel comic. This is not a DC comic. This has a very particular feel to it. I don't know what I would compare it to. I suppose more than anything, it kind of reminds me of like the Justice Machine and some stuff like that from, what was that comic company? Comico. It almost looks more Comico, but it's Capital. I can't say as I'm very familiar with much Capital comics. I'm trying to think of any others I have. That is a beautiful way of painting space. You've got this weird haired lady playing with an alien. I don't know. It's what comics are for. Stories that you can't tell in any other medium. I have seen a few issues of Mars there coming out on First. So, and they're already getting ties in with First Comics. But I wonder if it's a little bit like an instance I just came across recently where Army Surplus comics were being published and distributed by Eclipse. I wonder if there's something like that where this book was being produced and distributed by First. I'm not exactly sure. I think most people regard Eclipse as being the #1 kind of indie 80s title manufacturer, and I do agree they are fantastic. A close second, if not tied with them for the position, though, is First Comics. They had a lot of good stuff, and in my opinion, Nexus is probably the top tier of what they produced. I often lump in Impact Comics at the same time, but I know that Impact is kind of a subsidiary of DC. There's just a wall of people with heads in jars. Long before Futurama thought of it, we were doing it. Look at that. That's just amazing looking. Steve Rude. Isn't it amazing? So Whisper was another book that I tried to pick up as many as I could. I don't even know if I have any anymore. And I have a whole bunch of badgers. I had sold them all at one point, and through a series of circumstances ended up buying them all back for like $10, the same exact comics. So pretty happy with that. Yeah, I lost them once, but I somehow retained them. That is just a weird, very bizarrely drawn female creature. A lot of exaggerated faces and stuff going on here. And there's so many like bizarre characters, and like you can't even keep track of them all. It's just the normal world. The world of Nexus. And I think, you know, as wild as these panels are, like color-wise, and as good as some of these covers are, I would say, for the most part, like, they just get better. Like, I have later issues, and I hope to go through some of those. they just start looking more and more interesting. Like the book doesn't tone down. I think it finds its footing in its weirdness, and it starts to push the envelope with what it's doing. Yeah, so I got a pretty good pile of Badgers, but you look at these and you're like, man, these are just glorious, perfect sci-fi covers, kind of things that you want to buy, kind of things that you want to look for. Anyway, that's the first 5 issues of Nexus from Capital. I have a few other Nexus books. Like I said, I have a pretty healthy run of it, and then a few side issue runs, side projects that I did. And just wanted to share those. That's my story. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of Nexus, if you've ever bought or read any, or if you ever just collected any just for the covers. Let me know. Anyway, thanks. Catch you guys later. Bye.